Hi everyone, Kim here for Treasure Lee Kit Club. What I've got today is our limited edition Christmas ornament box, and what I'm going to be doing is giving you some instructions on how to put the box together. As you see, I've got all the little pieces here. Here's the box, and you guys should have your kits, so you should have your distress sprays, your glitter pen, your little Christmas bells, your pine branches, your string, your beads, and your little container of micro beads. The other things you're going to need is a good strong glue to put your box together. I'm going to be using this quick hold and it dries clear, so you really want something that dries clear. I've also got some Scotch tacky white glue that also works. This is permanent, and I believe this one dries clear too. Whatever glue you use, just make sure that it dries clear. I've grabbed a few other things that I'm going to be using, and I'll go through them as I start to decorate. I've got my ornaments off to the side here. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is we're going to start with putting our box together. And the first thing you may want to do is take a moist, not really wet, baby wipe and wipe your pieces off. They may have a little leftover soot on them, so you may see them look like they're a little dirty, but that'll wipe off. And like I said, you want this moist. You don't want it soaking wet. I've got a few pieces that still have a little bit of residue on them, even though I did try to wipe everything off. But like this one, you'll see it wipes right off. And like I said, my baby wipe is not wet. So let's go through the pieces for our lid. This is your lid, and I've already done one side just to show you. So for your lid, you're going to have 4 of the small pieces with 4 tabs on them, and you're going to notice that 2 are longer than the other. The longer pieces go on the top and the bottom of your box. They'll fit right in. Just like that. And you'll see they'll go to the complete edge. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm going to put it right into my little slots here. And if you can, try and get something with a finer tip than this. Either that or just keep some moist baby wipes around so that when you do this, you can clean up any excess glue. And I'm going to put a little on the edge here and a little on the edge here. And then I'm going to take my longer piece and I'm going to pop it right in. Like I said, it does pop right in. Oop. Or actually, you can slide it right in, would be a little bit easier. There we go. Just didn't have it lined up right. And you also want to make sure that you're using a quick dry glue. And just hold those tabs down. And make sure that it's flat and flush. So you can see my tabs are flush. And if you've got a glue that's quick drying, it'll grab a hold pretty quick. You just want to keep a little pressure on it. And actually what I have is just like my little hammer here to make sure that everything is in there. And I really want to hold these, oh, don't do that. I really want to hold these edges flush. This really is a lot easier than what I'm making it look like. But here we go. Just want to hold that in. And once your edges are secure, you could probably sit this down. So I need to hold my edges for just a few seconds to make sure that that glue grabs on and keep this flush. And I'm starting with the top so that my top can dry while I'm doing the bottom, and then I can go ahead and start decorating my top, because that's where I want to work first. I want to decorate my top. And so I'm going to be painting this. I love the etching in it, so I'm really not going to do too much to it. I'm going to go ahead and paint it, and I'm also going to give it a little sparkle, because this is your keepsake box, and depending on how you store your Christmas things, you know, you don't want to get anything knocked off of the top of your box, so you don't want your top to be too bulky. I think most of the embellishments and things that I do are going to go onto the ornaments. Alright, that's a little secure. And then you want to do the same thing with your sides. I'm going to add that glue into the tabs. And like I said, if you get a little messy, it's alright. You want to go in and clean it up with the baby wipe. And on your corners, you may want to add a little to your corners. And so now I'm going to go in here. Same thing. Our lid will sit right. And so as you can see, those are my corners there. And again, you want to make sure that that's really secure. And if you need to, oh, I've got some glue that I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac, because I've got a super thin tip on it, a little narrow tip on it, and I'm going to squeeze that in where I see some spaces. And just hold on to that for a second. And any excess I'm going to take and clean off with my damp baby wipe or damp towel or whatever you have that you're using. And I've got a little empty, a little space here too, so I'm going to do the same thing down on this end. Just get a little bit into that space and give it a little tight hold. Fourth corner, and actually here, before I put it down, I've got some looseness here. So I'm going to add some more glue. Hold that for a moment while I'm adding more glue to my other tabs and my other corner. And this will hold a lot better once you get all 4 pieces in. And then don't worry if your ends pop off like one of mine popped off here. I'm just going to go back through and re-glue that. Now that I have all 4 sides on, I'm going to re-glue it, and then I'm going to set this aside to further dry while we work on some of the other pieces. Yeah, like I said here, I think my glue is old, and that's why I'm having a problem with it holding. It seems to be working a lot better with the Fabri-Tac that I'm using. So I'm going to stick with this versus the other glue that I used, because this seems to be working a whole lot better. And it's not taking as long. So again, here I am holding the ends, and I'm holding it down. Got my baby wipe here, picking up any little excess. And if you get some glue that actually dries on here before you wipe it off, that's fine. You can take just like a little file or something and just file that, because this is wood and it really won't hurt it. Alright, now I'm just going to check this side. This side has come loose a little bit. Yeah, I've got to have some bad glue or something here. So I'm going to go back in, add a little more glue in a few places. And give that another hold. The Fabri-Tac seems to be holding this a lot better. So if you've got Fabri-Tac, that seems to be doing the job really well. Some zip dry would probably work as well too. So I'm just going to hold those corners for a few minutes. The other corners are holding up well now with the Fabri-Tac. I'm just going to grab a baby wipe and just go around the top of my box where I've got my little dirty fingerprints that are stuck in the glue. And like I said, whatever doesn't come off, you can take a quick file, like right on this corner right here. Take a little file and file that off. So I'm going to sit this aside, let it completely dry while we put the bottom together. Now, I did a couple of pieces in the bottom. For the bottom, there's a couple of things that you've got to do. First off, you've got to put your sections in, and then you've got to do your sides. Now, for your sections, you've got one, two, three. You've got two pieces that have 3 tabs on it. I've already got this one glued in. You need the 3 tabs, 2 of these that are going to go on the inside of your box here. If it doesn't fit in one way, flip it around, it'll fit in the other way. So that's how that's going to go. And I already put one side in, and that will help sturdy it by doing the insides first. So I'm just going to take a quick line of glue right down where my... I'm going to go ahead and take my piece. Oh, and before I do that, I'm going to add some glue to the side. So it will stick to the side of my box. Oh, and like I said, if it doesn't fit one way, swing it around. It'll fit in the other way. And there it is. It's all secured in. Just tap it down a little bit. And I'm just going to hold it on this end. My tab's in, and I've got one side done. I'm going to go to the other side. And again, you've got 4 pieces. 2 are shorter than the other. Your longer pieces go on the end. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue in the longer pieces. I'm going to add some glue to the end of here. And like I said, I'm going to glue my tabs. So your middle pieces help your end pieces stay on. So I'm just going to hold that for a few seconds. Again, give that adhesive a chance to start to dry. Now that's how we're looking with our box. Now for your other sections, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these pieces, and these are going to be different sizes too. You're going to have 2 that are longer, and then you're going to have 4 that are the same size. Your 2 longer pieces go, where your 2 longer pieces go? In the center. They're supposed to go in the center. Oh, that's right. And if they don't fit one way, turn around, they'll fit the other way. So your longer pieces will go in the center. I'm going to do some end pieces so I'll have something to attach the sides to. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my glue down on my board here. It's a little less messy for me if I do it that way. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach. Oh, gotta add some. Don't forget to add it to your end. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach it. And I'm going to hold that to the other piece. So again, your four short pieces go on the end, and your 2 longer pieces go on the inside. Now I'm going to do my inside pieces. We're at so far. Now the next thing is for me to add my side pieces. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add glue here, 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 and then inside here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add it to the inside of the tabs as well. And I'm going to take my side piece, slide it right in there, and hold. And now what's going on is you're getting your pieces, your squares are being pushed together, so if they were a little loose before, they'll be a lot better now, a little more secure now that you've got the side pieces in. And we're just going to hold those. Just going to hold those for a few seconds and let that glue dry. And we're almost done with putting our box together, and then we get down to getting our hands dirty. We're going to set this aside and let it dry, and then we're going to go back to our lid. But this is the base for our box. And before we set it aside, here's our lid. And you want to make sure that you don't have any glue around the top here or around here, because you don't want your lid to stick. And make sure that you've got everything even across here so that you make sure that your lid will go on. And there you have it. Your box is complete. Now time to just decorate it. Box. Leave your glue out because you're going to need your glue later on, and you probably may want to grab some gloss gel medium. I grabbed this. This was in one of our past mixed media kits, so you should have some gloss gel medium. I'm going to be using this to attach my little beads, but we'll get to that. First off, what I want to do is I want to color my box. I want to stain it, actually, is what I want to do. That's why we've got some distress stains. We've got festive berries, which is a nice Christmassy red, and then we've got pine needles, which is a nice Christmassy green. What I'm going to use for right now is, and the only reason I'm using this is because a couple years ago I did a advent calendar made out of the same type of wood, and I stained it a dark brown. So I kind of want this to go with the advent calendar, because once I take my ornaments out, I can still put my lid on my box and use my box as a Christmas decoration around the house as well. So I want to stick with that same color theme, but you can do the exact same thing I'm about to do with your distress stains. Now, the distress stains have a sprayer, and I'm going to be using the regular distress stain, but this one is a spray, but they're the same. And because I don't have a lot left, what I'm going to start off with is my distress ink, the walnut ink, and I'm just going to take my inking tool, and I'm going to go with the grain of the wood. I'm going to ink this up really well, and then I'm just going to go straight down with this, because what I want to do is get a light coat of the ink on my wood first before I go in with my stain, because I don't have a lot of stain left. So I want to put a base down of this ink, and it doesn't matter that it's not even, because again, this is wood, and when is wood, the color in wood, ever even? So that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm just trying to color this a little bit. And as you can see, you see that it's getting darker already. But never fear, I'm going to use my festive berries distress stain too to add a little color to this as well. So I'm going to take the distress ink and stain first, and I'm going to do my darker color, and then I'm going to take the distress spray with like a fan brush and give it a wash of some of the red over it, so it'll have streaks of red. And remember, when you're coloring the top of your lid or whatever you're doing to the top of your lid, don't forget your sides and the bottom of your box as well. Alright, so far this is giving me a nice dark coat, which I'm really liking. And again, as you see, I'm going with the grain of the wood, meaning I'm going up and down, or basically just down. But that is the grain of the wood. And you see I'm lighter in some places and darker in others, which is fine. But this is what it's looking like so far. And I don't know if I told you I'm using the color walnut stain. Now I'm just going to go around the sides with the ink as well. And I don't think I'm going to use the stain on the sides. I think I'm going to stick with just the ink on the sides. So the sides may be a little bit lighter than the rest of the box, but I think that'll be okay, because the standout piece is really the top of it. What you can do is, if you want your ink to really settle in and dry, you can do the top and then go do your bottom and come back to it. That's probably the best way to work, so you make sure that all your layers of mediums dry in between. Or if you're impatient like I can be sometimes, you can just grab your heat tool and hit it with your heat tool just for it to dry. But so far I'm really liking the way it's looking. And again, I'm going with the grain of the wood, so the wood kind of stands out, if you can see that. And I'm still trying to be a little careful because I don't think my sides are completely dry yet. I don't want anything popping off. So just gonna go one more side. I'm not going to worry about doing the inside top of the box too much. Okay, so here we are. I'm just finishing up the bottom of my box, and I'm not going to stain this with the distress stain because I absolutely love the way this turned out. Let me show you. So here's the bottom of the box where you can see all the detail of the wood. I absolutely love that. And I've got this little few imperfections where I got glue on it and it dried. See, if that happens to you, just take a file or something if you want, and you can sand that, and then just go back over it with your ink or your sprays or whatever, and it will pick up some of the color. And then on the top, I just took my pad with a little ink on it and around the top. So the inside's going to stay like this. So this is the bottom of my box, and it's pretty much done. Ooh, I just got some water on that, which is fine. You know what happens when you get water on distress ink, which is pretty much done. So this is the bottom of the box. Now, and we're going to go back right to the top of the box again. So I'm back to my top, and you see it's not as deep as my bottom, and that's fine because, like I said, I'm going to take some of my distress stain and I want to go over this, and again going with the grain of the wood. So this is going to be a lot darker than my bottom, but that's fine by me. And I'm just doing a light coating because I've got to spare what I've got. Probably would have been easier had I taken a brush. And I'm not trying to push down too hard. I'm just taking what's in the top of the sponge. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're working with wood, and wood is never perfect. So if you miss some spots, or if it looks too dark in one spot to you, then that'll be fine. Because wood's not perfect. So I'm not expecting this to be perfect. And so this is where I'm at with my lid. Remember I said I wasn't going to do the sides. I wanted them a little bit lighter. But I've got a little bit of ink on here, so we'll just go through and brush that off on the sides. Now what I want to do is to bring out some of the etching on here. I'm going to take my Festive Berries Distress Stain, and I'm going to take a brush and brush this over, give it a light dry brushing to hopefully pull out some of this etching in a different color. Because I lost a little of the detail right here. I went a little heavy with the ink and lost a little bit of the detail. The other way you can bring that back too is you can always take, again, a moist baby wipe and go right over that, and that'll pull a little bit of the color if you want to balance it a little bit more. Alright, so I'm not going to spray directly on my lid. I'm going to spray, and I'm going to take my brush can see the little streaks of red in it. And now the next thing I want to add is I want it to be a little shimmery. You've got this glitter pen, and this is in silver. And what you need to do is just shake it up. Give it a good shake so everything mixes. And then just open it up. You don't even have to cut the tip off. The tip should already be ready. And then this is what you're going to get. Sorry, my hands are so bad. This is what it's going to look like. But once it dries, all you're going to get is that glitter. And so, where do I want to go with it? How about I dot my I here. I think mine needs to be shaken a little bit more. It's still a little too watery. If you're doing it and it comes out a little too watery, put the lid back on and give it another shake. I've got a lot of my glitter still stuck down at the bottom of my pen. So you want to give that a little shake to make sure that you get all of your glitter. And be careful because it is going to be a little watery. So I just did my eye for right now. I'm probably going to come back to this. I'm still thinking on what else I want to do to the lid. I may add some of the bells and things to it. But you need to think about it. In the meantime, let's move on to some of the ornaments while that dries. First ornaments I'm going to take are these. That comes out. I want some of the thicker ornaments because I actually want to add glitter to them. Again, I'm going to use the glitter glue on them. So I want the thicker ones first, and I'll set those aside. And I'm going to go back to my glitter glue. I want to keep these a little simple. So I'm just going to take my glitter glue and just go over these. I'm also going to open up my pine needles because I think what I want to do is spray these two, maybe one green and one red, before I actually add the glitter to them, just to give them some color in the background. I don't mind having the natural one, but I want to add some color to these two. So we are going to open this, and I'm going to take my paintbrush and spray my spray. I just sprayed a little puddle, and I'm going to take my paintbrush so there it is, full on red. I'm going to set that aside to dry. I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going to go ahead with the green after I clean up my mess here a little bit, and we're going to use the pine needles. Okay, come on. And again, I'm just going to spray some. And take my brush. How you want to do it, you can color both sides. So I did one side. I may go ahead and just color the other side. Let it dry, and I'll see how I feel about the color to see if it needs another coat. But that's it in green. Alright, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to go back to my red because I didn't do the other side of my red. Alright, so now I went back and I did the other side. And here's the back side. And we'll go back to, this is the one that we did initially, and all we did was add some of the glitter to it, and it's fairly dry now. So let's, and we're going to add some glitter. Do we want to add some more glitter to this? I think I'm going to add some more glitter to it. Let's just cover this whole thing in glitter. Okay, so here is our shimmery silver, and that was with the glue gun. The perfect base now to go ahead and embellish your ornaments and add your string and everything else to them. So these are just some little tips from me. First of all, to show you how to put your box together, and then some things that you can go ahead and do with your ornaments. So we've got these. These are just the base of the distress sprays. And this one I completely covered with the glitter pen. And it's all shimmery and shiny now, and it's ready to be hung. Just nice and simple. So again, thank you for following along with me. This was just kind of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing to put this together for you. So hopefully you've got some great tips and tricks to go ahead and put your box together. I'm going to show you my lid now that it's finally dry. Actually, I'm going to put the box together, the lid on my box, and I'm going to, there we go, lid's on my box now, and I'm absolutely loving how my lid turned out. It's got a little bit of sparkle to it. I may add a little bit more, but I kind of like just the box. And here's the back. Got a little bit of that red on the side. But I just absolutely love the way that this turned out. So this has been Kim for Treasuries. Again, thank you for buying this limited edition kit. This is the first time that we've done it. Hope you really enjoyed it. And don't forget to check out the website at www.treasurekits.com for all our updates. We've got some great new things coming up at the first of the year. So I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Bye.